Hi, I'm Mark Morales, Product Manager for KT Percussion, and welcome to the KT KT4 setup video. You'll notice, fresh out of the box, we've got all the rack components laid out in front of me, and I'm going to show you how to put these components together, not only in the basic configuration, which you see to my right, but also a few alternate setups. As drummers, a lot of us have different ways we like our drums set up, so I'd like to show you not only how to do a standard 5 or 6 piece configuration, but a 1 up, 2 down, and some variations on that. Now let's take a look at the rack components that come with your KT4 kit. To my right, I have 4 24-inch curved tubes. I have the 2 front support tubes, which are 34 inches. Now the rack clamps are already on the tubes, pre-positioned for the most basic setup. And next to those are the 2 back support tubes, which are 29 inches and 23 inches. And you'll notice we have a snare drum tube, which is 14 inches. Now the rack clamp is also pre-positioned on that. You'll also see I have 3 cymbal boom arms and the back floor tom support arm, as well as 3 additional L rods that hold up all the pads. And to my right, I have the included DW3000 series hi-hat stand. So let's put all of this together and show you a few variations as well. Okay, so the first thing we want to do when setting up the rack is to take the 2 front supports, which are the 34-inch tubes. You notice one tube has 4 clamps, one tube has 3 clamps. The tube with 4 clamps is going to also support the snare drum, so that's going to be in your front left. If you're a left-handed player, then just reverse the instructions I'm giving you here. Let's make sure that clamp 1 on the bottom and clamp 3 are lined up. So as you can see, they're lined up so that the tube goes in straight on both sides. So you notice there's notches in the curved tube, and that's to keep the bar level, so that not only will the vertical tubes be straight up and down, but horizontally it'll be level as well. So we put that in. Do the same thing with clamp number 3. All right, and I'm going to center it from the wiggle area, right in about the middle. Okay, same thing down here. Now let's take the other support tube, and you should be able to just slide them in if you've loosened the 2 clamps. Okay, now that we've got the front supports in place, it should stand on its own. So now we want to put the back support legs. So first thing I'm going to do is take one of the back supports and make sure that the clamps are aligned, same thing as we did with the front. This way your rack will be level and your support tube going horizontally will be level. Okay, that looks about right. So I'll take the notched 24-inch curve, slip it right into the clamp, tighten it down a little bit, making sure it's centered. And I'm going to slip it right into the second clamp on the front post and just tighten it down. You're going to do the same thing with your other back support leg as well. So now that we've got the basic rack in place with the front supports and the back supports, let's position the snare drum tube. So the snare drum tube comes from the 4th clamp from the bottom. And that's, if you're right-handed, it's your front left 4th clamp up. Swivel that in a little bit. I like to lower it a tad. Tighten that a little bit. Now I take the snare drum tube, which is the 14-inch tube, place it so that the L rod's going to come from the bottom. So I'll slip it right into the clamp, tighten that a little bit. You'll see this is perfectly positioned straight up and down. Take your L rod, slip it right into place. It's going to be just going straight up and down for now. If you like a little slant on your snare drum, obviously you can just use the clamp here and position the snare however you'd like it. But for now, let's just go straight up and down. Now we've got the basic structure all set up. Okay, now let's put the 2 front rack toms in position. We're going to turn this clamp in, take your L rod, slide it right into place, and put a little tilt to the L rod, and let's tighten the clamp and tighten the L rod. So I have this position with a tilt and going straight across. Let's do the same thing for the next clamp. This one's already tilted and turned, so we just put about the same amount of tilt on this clamp. And that's looks to be about the same height. Make sure they're level. You'll notice when you start putting the pads on if they're level or not. All the pads are the same. They're all 11-inch, so it doesn't matter which pad you put on. Position that so the cat logo is coming right about 45-degree angle so it hits the center of the rack. Let's do the same with the next one. About the same height. Tighten that down. Tighten your L rod. And that's your two front. Now you may want to tighten up the gap in the middle. Just do that by swiveling left and right toms in a little bit. And you're all set. The floor tom is held up by a tom arm and a rack clamp. So I've got the arm right into the clamp. I'm going to now also put the L rod in place. So take the L rod, slip it right into the tom arm. It should have maybe a little slant to it. It's up to you how much slant you want. And we're going to position it onto the rack. And we'll put the floor tom on. Right about center. There you go. Now your three toms are in place. Now let's put our snare drum pad in place. Slip it over the L rod that was on the snare arm. Position it wherever you'd like. And tighten it down. Okay, now let's place the cymbal arms onto the rack. You'll notice on the front there's rack boom attachments, and these will slip right down those attachments. That's a boom arm, although I have it straight up and down. I prefer my crash just to be right next to my tom-tom. Next cymbal arm, I would prefer having a ride to my right. You can maybe have two crashes if you prefer. Let's put this in place. And last is the second crash, which I like all the way to the right. Again, do it whatever is most comfortable to your playing style. And those are in place. So you'll notice on each boom arm there's a black cymbal stem with a little fin on it. The fin is shaped to fit right into the notch on the underside of the cymbal. So you'll want to make sure you line those up when you place your cymbal. That way it won't rock side to side when you're playing. Now let's take your KT4 module, make sure the bracket is already attached, place it right into the back vertical. Okay, now let's take our last two kit components, being our hi-hat stand and our bass drum tower, and put those into place. And we'll position our hi-hat. Now the hi-hat pad is a 3-zone pad which works with an actuating sensor. So this came in a separate box. We want to place the second felt that came in the box onto the hi-hat stand. That way the actuator will sit onto the felt. Put that down the pull rod and take your hi-hat and just place it over the pull rod as you would a normal acoustic cymbal. Place the level of movement you'd like and you're good to go. Okay, now what we have here is an alternate setup. This is what I would call a 1-up, 2-down setup. So you have one rack pad up here and two floor toms to your right. You'll notice now the right cymbal is super low, and that's typical of a 1-up, 2-down setup. The way I did that was I moved the back left vertical to the right front. Basically swapped them out, or you can swap them sideways, whatever is best for you as far as leveling your cymbals and your module. If you like your module up a little higher, just swap out the higher tube. But this way you can have more flexibility with the right cymbal being low and have 1-up, 2-down, same wiring configuration, just a different setup. So give it a shot. Okay, now another alternate configuration would be to add a side snare. So the way to do this is to use the optional trigger Tom 4 input in the back and purchase a KT4-9 PTAC or a KT4-11 PTAC. The KT4-9 PTAC is the 9-inch white dual zone pad that you see here with the rack clamp, tom arm, L rod, and the trigger cable. If you'd like the 11-inch pad, we also offer that as the KT4-11 PTAC. Put those two items together and you've got a side snare along with your 1-up, 2-down configuration. So let's check it out. There it is.